The land confiscation incident in Kailu County, Inner Mongolia, caused quite a stir. Around April 2024, several farmers reported that town and village officials prevented them from farming and forcibly seized their vehicles. Villagers were required to pay millions in additional contract fees. A man claiming to be Ji Yunhao, the party secretary of Jianhua Town, said,
"Get down quickly, otherwise we will confiscate your vehicle. Do you hear me? You're occupying collective resources. I already told you this morning that this land does not belong to you, yet you are still driving and farming this afternoon."
The 30-year-old contract hasn't expired yet, so why does it not belong to the people? How can it belong to the village?
I'm telling you, this land does not belong to you.
A man claiming to be Yang Hua, the village party branch secretary, said,
I'm telling you, today I'm going to deal with you. Let's see what you can do. I'm not saying anything else. Which law have I broken? Please clarify first.
At this moment, another man, claiming to be Hua Zheliang, the deputy director of the village committee, shouted,
Don't argue here. If I don't bring 200 people to deal with you tomorrow, I'll take your surname. Do you believe me? What can the police do? This is the rule from above. I won't talk to you about the rules and laws. If the higher-ups tell me to collect money, I'll collect money.
Regarding this, Chinese lawyer Yang Sheng stated that the video of this incident has been widely circulated domestically. Since it touches on relatively low-level issues, the authorities did not find it too sensitive and thus did not censor it. Yang Sheng believes that local officials are doing this possibly due to financial strain, trying every possible means to squeeze the people to make up for the shortfall in fiscal spending. This fits the typical behavior of the Communist Party. Without protection and orders from above, these officials wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. In Hebei Province, Chang'an County has even relied on traffic fines and entrapment enforcement to raise funds, with an astounding ratio exceeding 90%. On August 29, 2023, Mr. Xue was driving his small car as usual to supplement his income. Around 1 p.m., a young man in his 20s booked Mr. Xue's ride via a ride-hailing app, requesting a trip from a shopping mall in Chang'an to a village in Zijie County. Unexpectedly, as Mr. Xue approached the destination, enforcement officers were already waiting there. The officers drove Mr. Xue's car to a parking lot, deleted the driving record from the car, and told him to wait until further notice. In his frustration, a kind man informed Mr. Xue that 30 meters to the right, after exiting the gate, there was a dental clinic that could handle the matter. When Mr. went to the clinic, the staff seemed to know in advance why he was there. Immediately, they started discussing money. After some negotiation, Mr. Xue agreed to transfer 3,500 RMB via WeChat to a personal account named Huang Juncai. After half an hour, the clinic staff handed the car keys back to Mr. Xue. Nanjing City also drew public attention due to local government overcharging. On April 23, 2024, Mr. Wang posted online expressing his dissatisfaction. He said that on the afternoon of April 9th, while cycling home on Zhongshan Road in Nanjing and crossing the intersection of Huaqiao Road, he was stopped by a traffic officer for riding against the traffic. The officer told him that non-motorized vehicles must be walked across intersections if riding against traffic, but since it was his first violation, he was only given a warning. However, 10 days later, Mr. Wang was fined 50 RMB for riding a bicycle without a license. People were puzzled, saying they had been cycling for years and had never heard of a license exam for bicycles, so why the fine now? After this incident was exposed, the Nanjing Vehicle Administration clearly stated that according to the revised Jiangsu Province road traffic safety regulations at the beginning of 2024, bicycles no longer needed to be registered. This means that the 50 RMB fine was actually an unauthorized charge by the traffic police officer. Observers note that areas engaging in such practices share common traits, such as slow economic transformation and limited fiscal sources. They can't endure hard times and can't achieve economic restructuring, so they resort to unconventional means to raise funds. While some places can manage with minor actions, others go too far. In 2021, Bazhou city government illegally proposed linking non-tax revenue, or fines, to the expenditures of collecting units, incorporating it into the performance evaluation of township and village-level leadership. Under such circumstances, almost everyone on the public payroll in Bazhou was out finding money. The traffic department fined vehicles, the industry and commerce department businesses, the environmental protection department fined factories, and even the agriculture department fined pig farmers. After much effort, the results were a bumper harvest. In the 3 months, they've nearly 200 million RMB, about 28 million US dollars, accounting for 30% of the fiscal budget, 900 times the previous amount, involving 2,547 enterprises with an average fine and fee of 26,400 RMB, about 3,600 US dollars per enterprise, along with countless individuals and self-employed businesses being excessively fined. This sparked heated discussion among the public, with people saying the city government is out of money, so they increase revenue by fining businesses and residents, setting strict targets linked to job promotions and fiscal allocations. They are completely misusing public power, and they even issued a red-handed document. Aren't they being too blatant about it? However, experts believe that whether it's Bazhou in 2021 or various cities and counties in 2024, the lack of fiscal funds and the unwillingness of local governments to endure hard times have led them to rely on fines and confiscations to fill the financial gap. This has resulted in a series of absurdities such as entrapment fines, campaign-style enforcement, and carpet-style money searches. Experts argue that the underlying issue is the rampant abuse of local power and insufficient regulation of public power. Moreover, local governments haven't truly adopted a mindset of frugality, demonstrating the old saying, "It's easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but difficult to return to frugality." Seeing this, some netizens can't help but ask, is the central government just ignoring these phenomena? The reality might disappoint some people. Not only does the government not intervene, but its methods of creative money-making are even more elaborate than those of local governments. Due to the prolonged economic downturn in China, the birth rate has declined, leading to fewer people paying into Social Security. Consequently, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has taken up the business of matchmaking. On May 10th, Caijing.com reported that the Social Insurance Service Center in Kailu County, Yongzhou City, Hunan Province, issued an initiative titled Marriage Without Dowry, Pay Social Security Instead. The idea is that when a man and a woman marry, the man directly pays the dowry as Social Security to the Chinese government. In China, when a man marries, he gives money to the bride's parents called a bride price, which is a traditional custom. However, after the one-child policy, many rural families have only daughters or 2 daughters. Since farmers' pensions are low and daughters typically marry out, rural parents rely on the bride price for their retirement. Thus, the bride price has evolved into a phenomenon of selling daughters. This is why the bride price was once considered illegal but is now deemed legal. Essentially, Hunan Province's campaign means that the man should convert the bride price meant for the woman's parents into installments paid to the state, with the Social Security Bureau eventually paying the parents' pensions. The Kailu County Social Security Center also recommended that buying pension insurance can alleviate the financial pressure on the man's family, ensuring the marriage, and guarantee that the woman's parents can receive a monthly pension after retirement, providing a more secure and reassuring solution than the bride price. However, commentators point out that China's Social Security fees are paid monthly and are relatively low, with a minimum payment period of 15 years. This means that as long as the marriage lasts, the man continues to pay, which seems cost-effective. Nonetheless, the biggest beneficiary is still the CCP government, as having more people pay into Social Security makes it easier for corrupt officials to embezzle funds, achieving multiple goals at once. Some external commentators suggest that marriage in China has turned into high-priced prostitution, and since marriage is a commercial transaction, the CCP naturally acts as an intermediary, becoming a pimp. The CCP is also taking advantage of housing issues. With the collapse of real estate giants and the increasing number of unfinished buildings, people prefer renting to avoid buying properties that might remain unfinished. Investors who used to buy properties now hesitate. But nothing can daunt the Chinese government. If the real estate sector can't harvest money, they'll find another way. You might not buy a house, but you still need water, gas, and to go out. Recently, social media in China has been flooded with news of rising water and electricity prices in Guangzhou. According to a May 12th report from Yicai, villagers in Jieyang, Guangdong, complained online that the electricity price for residential use had increased from 30 cents RMB per kilowatt-hour to 68 cents RMB per kilowatt-hour, with prices rising with increased usage. Villagers said that the local average salary is 2,000 RMB, about $276 US, and the increased electricity prices in summer put significant pressure on their lives. Besides Jieshi in Guangdong, on June 1st, reports emerged from Hubei, Sichuan, Jiangsu, and other places that the time-of-use electricity pricing for residences would be cancelled in favor of tiered pricing, resulting in higher electricity bills. According to China City News, in 2023 alone, 11 provinces, including Beijing, Shandong, and Hubei, introduced new policies on tiered electricity pricing. In addition to these adjustments, water prices are also on the rise. According to the paper, a hearing on the reform of tap water prices in central Guangzhou was held on May 9th. Among the 17 representatives, 16 supported the Guangzhou Development and Reform Commission's proposal to raise water prices. Despite the consensus at the hearing, the public reaction was different. The sudden price hikes caught many off guard, as the increased cost of daily water use affects everyone. Guangzhou residents tried to vent their frustrations, but the city's complaint platform was already malfunctioning, and posts on Weibo and Douyin were being deleted or blocked. A public WeChat account sarcastically noted that when the real estate sector is in decline, raising the prices of public services is inevitable. At least Guangzhou held a hearing to complete the formalities, though it was largely superficial. Other cities don't even bother with such processes, they just raise the prices. Perhaps recognizing the trend in China's economy, some foreign media reported that wealthy Chinese have transferred hundreds of billions of dollars abroad this year, buying overseas real estate, foreign currencies, or gold bars. Zhao Jie, CEO of Tokyo Real Estate Online Services, Shenju Miaosuan, said Chinese buyers are the main purchasers of Tokyo apartments, priced at $3 million or more, often paying in cash. Several real estate agents and developers noted that Chinese tycoons particularly favor high-rise apartments in Tokyo Bay. These luxury apartments, typically priced over 300 million yen, about $2 million, offer views of Tokyo Bay, Tokyo Tower, and Mount Fuji. A Chinese entrepreneur living in the United States, Meng Jun, revealed that some Chinese tycoons are purchasing multi-million-dollar properties in Southern California using RMB. Meng said, "For example, I can use RMB to buy a property in California." So the buyer pays in RMB domestically, and the property is transferred in Southern California. This is legal in California, and many of my friends are doing this. This method allows some to successfully transfer their wealth abroad. In an interview, Mike Sun, a senior China investment strategy expert and private investment advisor in the United States, stated that China's overall economic situation is currently very poor. Many large projects or infrastructure projects are funded by the government, with government money and mandated loans. Private investment has basically come to a halt. He said, "Think about it. If no one is investing or consuming, the economy is essentially stagnant, and the national economy won't improve." Meng Jun added that the CCP is now blatantly plundering the wealthy because the government has run out of money, so they are targeting the rich to seize their assets. He said, "This has always been happening, but now it's blatant and undisguised. They are using so-called tax audits, transfer restrictions, and other means to openly extort money. This is a consistent practice of the CCP, but now it's done openly." Meng Jun also mentioned that the CCP has reached the point of outright robbery, making the rich extremely vulnerable. Therefore, the wealthy are hastily selling off their assets and transferring them or moving themselves out of the country as quickly as possible. It is well known that China's economy continues to show signs of weakness, with recent data offering little hope. Purchasing manager surveys indicate economic activity is stagnating. At the same time, service sector data show a nationwide downturn compared to growth earlier in the year. Both state-owned and private companies reported significant declines in industrial profits in the first quarter compared to the same period in 2023. The real estate crisis persists, dragging down housing sales and construction. Data from China Real Estate Information Corp shows sales by the top 100 developers dropped about 43% year-on-year and 80% compared to December 2020, before the real estate crisis. Commentators have stated that given China's current financial struggles, local governments have resorted to even harsher exploitation of the people. The financial crisis facing the government is quietly transforming into a nationwide risk to property rights. However, ordinary Chinese citizens are not as fortunate. After years of hard work, many may only possess a house, a savings account, and a car. Experts have warned that when your salary is no longer your own, your savings are no longer your own, your house is no longer your own, and your assets are no longer your own, When every right that once seemed obvious requires extra effort to secure, defending the most basic and daily property rights will become the central theme of your life.